this video, I am going to help you understand exactly what you need for your online singing lessons so that you can make them as effective as possible and honestly not buy ridiculous amounts of equipment that you're never going to use again. In this video, I'm going to help you understand how to maximize your results for your online singing lessons and what sort of setup you might need if you're already taking them and want to make them better, or if you're interested in starting. So, kia ora, my name is ZoeStibi and I am your online vocal coach today. I'm really excited to see you here. I have been taking online singing lessons for a very, very long time. So long, in fact, that when I was taking online singing lessons, there were about like 2 vocal coaches live in my town. And that's why I took online singing lessons, because I wanted to get like the best from those singing teachers that were like the cutting edge of vocal technique and get the newest techniques. And so I have to chuckle because I would spend my entire month's bandwidth. Yes, I did not have unlimited internet. I would spend my entire month's bandwidth on one singing lesson many, many, many moons ago. So I feel like I know a little bit about them. I have also been teaching online singing lessons for the best part of about 12 years now. So before we kind of all had to go online. And that's why I'm here to help you understand how you can really get the most out of them. And honestly, I want to stop you right there from buying any new equipment. I do have like the ultimate online singing lesson list of equipment down in the description below, but please don't go there first. Hear me out. Let's go into the first part of the video, which is that before you start your online singing lessons, there are some just basic things that you really need. And again, before you go away and like buy everything on the list, I just want you to think about what you already have in your arsenal that you're wanting, or that you can be using for your lessons, because that's always my first port of call. If, however, you've already been taking online lessons and you just want to kind of level up a little bit, then head straight down into my gear list. The most important thing about online lessons is we need to remove the feedback. So that is when like I'm speaking to you in a lesson, or your singing teacher speaking to you and they can hear themselves on the other side, or I'm playing the music and I can hear it on the other side. That's what we call feedback. And what that does is it creates a loop within the recording or within the lesson, and kind of everything gets a little bit confusing. So you're going to want earphones. These are really, really simple earphones. I think they cost about 12 euros and I've had them for a million years. They're falling apart a little bit. So you're going to want either, these are called over ears, where they actually sit over top of your ears. They're really comfortable when it comes to wearing earphones for a longer period of time. And you can have them, I always like to say to students, with a cable, just kind of stops any type of delay within the audio. But again, if you've got Bluetooth earphones, that's absolutely fantastic. So I just want you to be able to stand up while you're having your singing lessons. That's why this one has a ginormous cable on it. Obviously, when you're wearing earphones, it can be kind of challenging to hear yourself. So what you're going to do is just tuck one of those behind your ear. Okay, you've seen the pro singers do this in the studio. It just means that we can hear ourselves a little bit better. Or you're just going to take one of your ear pods out while you're singing. So that means that you can hear your teacher and the music in here, and you can hear yourself through the other ear. So next, I want you to have 2 devices for your singing lessons. Now, hear me out. I'm not telling you to go and buy a whole bunch of equipment, but the problem is when we're using our phones for our singing lessons, firstly, we need a second device so that we can play our karaoke tracks. So that's what I like to tell students to use their phones for, to play the karaoke or the instrumental. And that just makes it a lot easier for you to hear, and it reduces that time difference that happens. Like if I was to play the music on my side, you would hear it delayed, and then I'd hear your singing delayed. So it just helps everybody if you're playing your music on your side with the karaoke, or sometimes with the singer. I do allow that sometimes, okay? So we've got our music or our instrumental track on our phones. And for the actual meeting, or where we're going to be meeting for the lesson, I want you to have some sort of either tablet or laptop available. Now, again, don't go and buy anything, but there are quite low cost tablets out there these days. And that's just, you can see it's so much bigger. And so you're going to be able to see your face and my face. And if I need to share my screen with you, like for example, to show you voice print or to show you what's going on with your pitching or what's going on with your sound, then that's going to be much larger for you to look at, because on your phone, you're going to be squinting like this and not really able to see anything. So the other benefit of making sure that your face is bigger is that you're not going to need a mirror for your practice then, because when we're learning these techniques, we really need to be watching what's actually going on with my face so that you can go away and practice that. So 2 devices are needed, one to play your instrumental and one to have the actual meeting on, okay? Now, the other really cool thing about having your phone available is that you can also double check your pitching with the free app, Nail the Pitch. I'll put a link in the description below if you're looking about, if you've got no idea about what that is, but also how you can use the app. And sometimes I'll get singers to just double check what their pitch is doing by looking at it on Nail the Pitch. And I love it because it makes sure that you can really see what's going on with your own voice. And I want you to make sure that you're not singing a cappella, because while we're talking about pitching, and that means like how well you're staying in the actual tune or on the note that you're supposed to be singing, if you're playing your instrumental track, you're going to be much more likely to be singing the right note at the right time for your song. I don't want you to use any type of external speaker. Actually, sometimes that can make it a little bit loud for us singing teachers in the meeting itself. If you're like blasting the music, we still need to be able to hear you. So if you've got it on your phone, you can even just hold the music up to your ear, for example, or be looking at the lyrics as well of your karaoke. I'm well aware, and I just realized this as I was preparing for this video, I have this MacBook Air, and I'm not an affiliate of Mac. It's just that the software that I use for recording is only available on a Mac. But unfortunately, it doesn't have an Ethernet cable anymore. That's really annoying. Usually, I would recommend for singers, like if kind of the best thing for you to do if you're doing any type of online meeting is to actually plug your computer into the modem itself, because it just means that you're getting uninterrupted, fast internet, especially if you've been having any type of issues with the speed. And that can depend on what time your singing lessons are and how, like what the general speed is of your internet for your particular area. So your singing teacher might be using Zoom, Google Meets, Teams. It honestly doesn't really matter. Whatever works for them is going to be working for you. They're going to have their way of working. I personally in my studio use Google Meets. It's super easy, and it's just clicking on that link and you come into the meeting. But if you are using Zoom, or if you have a singing teacher that is using Zoom, you need to make sure that you download the actual app, because that is going to be able to give you extra audio settings that you can be playing around with. I'll do a separate video about how you can turn on the original sound for Zoom and setting up Zoom for music lessons. But downloading the app is also going to make that connection just that little bit faster. The last thing you want in your lesson is you're like, right, I'm starting at 7:30. You open your laptop or you turn your tablet on at 7:30 and like, my goodness me, it has to do some form of an update. So I always recommend to singers, actually, I love telling people to start warming up 10 minutes before their lesson. I've actually got a free warm-up for you. If you want to do one before your online singing lessons, you can download it in the description below. And if you start doing your warm-up, turn on your device and open up the meeting ready to go, because that way you won't get caught out and your device can do all of the updates that it wants to do, because you have no idea how many singing lessons start with people texting me going like, oh my goodness me, my computer's doing an update, I'm going to be late. It's the last thing you want. Start doing your warm-up, get everything set up, set yourself up there with your glass of water, and then you can start your lesson bang on time and chill as a cucumber. This happens quite a lot in singing lessons, that I get singers looking down at me the entire time because their desk is too low or they have it on a table. I just honestly recommend that you get a stack of books to lift your device up to around head height. We're wanting to make sure that we're always seeing you about this much from the waist upwards, because that's meaning that we're going to be able to really notice what's going on with your breathing, with your posture, with your hip position while you are singing. Now, if you are looking to take your singing to the next level, or you're like, Zoe, what would be the next best thing for me to like invest in? And probably my first port of call is going to be a music stand. So I've got some links in the description below for music stands. And there are a whole bunch of different options out there. But what that's going to do is make sure that your music or your lyrics are up at your head height. Because if you're looking down, that is going to change the position of your larynx and actually, quite honestly, make it difficult for you to sing. So investing in that music stand is going, and I'm pointing to mine over there, is just going to make it so much easier for you to organize your music and your lyrics for you to continue with your singing practice. I always get asked this by students. Should I be standing? Should I be sitting? That's going to be totally up to your singing teacher. Personally, I like to say to students, you're welcome to sit down for the vocal warm-up, but as soon as we get into the song work or into louder vocalization, I will be expecting you to stand up. So I want you to make sure that you are able to stand in your singing lessons. So the reason for this is that we're wanting to make sure that we're feeling the connection of the whole body. And that's very difficult when we're sitting down. If I'm asking you to do some movements, or I'm asking you to roll your shoulders, or even do a little bit of a hula hoop, which I often get singers to do to help release the tension within their bodies, you're going to want to stand while you're doing that. So having both of those options is great, but my preference would always be standing for singing. Now, I don't know about you, but I have never looked back at a single singing lesson in my life, but do not use me as an example. I have plenty of my students who record their singing lessons, and not that I keep track of who's watching what, but I can see on the back end they're re-watching their singing lessons over and over and over and really going through and working on their techniques. So you could use a recorder like Fathom, for example. I'll pop a link in the description below for you. It's really awesome because, and I'm not an affiliate, I promise you, it just gives you a great outline, and it allows you to go back and click on the particular parts of the lesson rather than scrolling through and watching the whole thing. But I do recommend that you keep some form of practice journal or lesson journal there, so you can make your own notes along the way about what you can be working on, where you were having difficulty, what to come back and refer back to when you've finished your singing lesson. Because I tell you, if in my singing lessons I got to the end of them and sometimes I thought, what did we just do? That was wonderful, but I'm not really sure what I should be working on. And that's why I always went back and referred to my notes, and that made it so much more effective for my practice. Probably the most expensive thing that you're going to be investing in for your online singing lessons will be an external microphone. Now, I have a caveat to that as well, because some of these are not Bluetooth, but some Bluetooth earphones do have really excellent microphones in them, and more than good enough for your online singing lessons. I don't actually have a device, and I don't use them personally, but I have multiple students who have the Apple AirPods, and they are like the creme de la creme of online singing lesson like audio quality as well as microphone quality. So if you have AirPods, woohoo, great for you. If you don't, not a problem. You can use your Bluetooth microphone earphones if it's on there. Otherwise, one thing that a lot of students do is they're like, oh, I want a microphone that's gonna like suit me for everything. That's quite challenging, especially when it comes to online lessons, because something that you're going to be using, say like this microphone, it's I think it's a Shure SM7B. This is not a great microphone actually for singing lessons, because if I am going to want to move away from my microphone, it's really hard for my teacher to be able to hear me. So I actually use a different microphone for my online singing lessons. For when I'm taking them, when I'm giving lessons, this is the perfect microphone because it really isolates my voice in here for my students. I recommend to singing students that you think a little bit about, well, firstly, when it comes to microphones, the sky is the limit in terms of budget. So you need to think a little bit about your budget, but I'll put some options for you down in the description below. I really love the Rode NT1. It's a really great USB, and actually even now it's a USB-C microphone, which will work with most of your devices, even your iPads or your tablets, your phone and your computer. And it's also giving you a really great vocal quality, and you can use it if you're wanting to move on to recording for covers or recording yourself singing online. It is just a really great starter, kind of like all-round package for the microphone. And I say starter, but it's just an excellent microphone. So I did do an entire video about how you can use the Rode NT1, and I show you how I use it to record, but also you can hear the sound. So I'll pop that down in the description below as well. But when it comes to microphones, I don't want you to go and spend a whole bunch of money if it is just for your online singing lessons. I actually really love to have students to use an SM58 because and that's one of the microphones I have down below, because that is a microphone that you're going to be using for gigging. If you're going out, you can start recording covers with it, and it's like literally the industry bog standard microphone. And when you're having your online singing lessons, it's not going to be quite as isolating as a podcasting kind of microphone like this, but it is also going to allow you to sing loud, to sing quietly. And it is actually the microphone I started with when I was, for this channel. If you were looking for something to take gigging, and the Rode NT1 if you were looking for something to record your covers with. All in all, I honestly don't want you to overthink your online singing lessons, and especially at the beginning. I want you to just see if they're actually for you. Like, I'm a full-time online singing teacher, and I am telling you, online singing lessons are not for everybody. And that's why I always have a first lesson with singers to say, like, let's just test this out. Do you feel like this will work for you? Do you feel like you can learn this way? And if you can, fantastic. If you can't, that's also absolutely fine. And you can go and find a live vocal coach in your area. But most importantly, I don't want you to go out there and buy the most expensive equipment, because honestly, it's not always the best option for your voice. Just because it has a really high price tag on it and you see me using it does not mean that it is the right option for you. So if you want my full gear list, then you can check out the link in the description below, because I really want you to make sure that you're looking firstly at your budget, at your skill level. You can always sell the stuff later on and upgrade as you go for your singing. And you know what? You can add some of these things to your Christmas list or birthday list and get people to kind of like bit by bit buy them for you. That's what I really like to tell my students to do. So if you've got any questions about online singing lessons, I'd love to hear from you. You can hit me up in the description below if you're wanting to take your singing to the next level. If you're like, Zoe, I really want to go pro, like I want to, get really freaking good at singing, then you're going to need to have one-to-one singing lessons. You can join my online singing school, the Vocal Academy. I'd love to hear from you. There is a whole bunch of information in this video, and thank you so much for joining me. Hit that subscribe button so that we can geek out about some music more often, and I can help you to improve this voice. Happy singing. Ka kite anō. Oh yeah, I got a warm up for you. It's up here because I love you to do this before your online singing lesson. Check it out here. Bye.